Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John, and I am a photographer living in Vienna. I've had the opportunity to visit North Korea 7 times since 2005, capturing images of the people and their perspectives. During these visits, I witnessed more than what is usually allowed for journalists, who are constantly monitored by supervisors. I've known my supervisors for years, and I've even taken photos with them. They make sure to maintain control over all filming and discussions. Despite this, I've observed subtle changes and new ideas emerging in a society trapped in collective thinking, a paranoid system that even I had to yield to. Every visit begins at the statues of 2 powerful leaders, part of the Grand Mansudae Monument commemorating North Korea's resistance against Japanese occupation. Pyongyang, the capital, has over 3 million residents and is home to a growing middle class that is increasingly economically independent, which could eventually pose a challenge to the regime. About 2 million cell phones have been allowed since 2008, though they are primarily used for domestic calls and by a select few, including my supervisors. For the first time, I was permitted to travel by taxi, though I was still accompanied by a supervisor. We visited a supermarket, where I found typical Western products. I was surprised to see that people were well dressed, and there were even casinos and a Vienna-style coffee culture, though I was the only guest. Interestingly, government TV featured Western propaganda figures, and during my visit, the Slovenian rock band Laibach became the first Western band allowed to perform. The dream of reunification between North and South Korea lingers, but it's fading due to new provocations and aggressive military tactics at the border, often called the most dangerous in the world. I've tried to understand the true condition of the North Korean people, seeing them as ordinary individuals behind the system. However, appearances can be deceptive. In Panmunjom, within the demilitarized zone, there's no shortage of coffee, smiles, and bullet casings. The highway from Pyongyang to Seoul and the railway that's been disrupted for over 50 years tell stories of a divided nation. In the demilitarized zone, under the watchful eyes of my 3 supervisors, I walked through an atmosphere thick with tension and surrealism. A skirmish occurred just a day before my arrival, and military exercises were ongoing with the smell of ammunition and war in the air. My supervisors assured me of protection, though it was far from comforting. This area, stretching 248 kilometers along the 38th parallel, is where the Allies arbitrarily divided the country after World War II. During my visits, I've encountered both the public face and the personal side of North Korea. The public face is meticulously crafted, while the personal side is revealed in moments like sharing drinks with a colonel I've known for a decade. Here, in a place where the armistice and the end of the war were negotiated, it becomes clear that image and reality often diverge sharply. The focus is always on capturing images, explanations are secondary. My colonel friend would escort me from one barrack to another, stressing the importance of how frequently and which notable leaders visited these places. Yet, his interests clearly lay elsewhere. North Korea is presented as a paradise on earth, where people are taught from childhood to accept the state's ideology and sacrifice their individual existence for the group. I tried to discover when and how this indoctrination began by visiting a school. Despite the pristine classrooms, it felt staged, as if the students were merely playing their parts. In reality, most North Koreans don't have enough money to supplement their food rations, but there are supermarkets selling Western goods, signaling a growing middle class in Pyongyang that is beginning to demand openness or at least certain luxuries. As my journey through North Korea continued, I saw the influence of women driving cultural changes, their fashion no longer adhering strictly to propaganda rules. Even though they still chant state slogans like, "Long live the glory of Songin," an ideology that prioritizes military might, there are signs of a shift, particularly in the younger generation. Despite the ongoing challenges and sanctions, which further isolate North Korea, the resilience of its people is evident. Yet, it remains difficult to determine what is genuine and what is fabricated in this highly controlled society. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.